Hello, I'm Suzanne from bookcareers.com and I'm the author of How to Job Search in Book Publishing, the Ultimate Insider's Guide. And in this video, I'm going to give you some tips to help boost your job search. It's really easy, whether we're looking for a job for the first time in years or we've been on a prolonged job hunt, to be very stale in our approach. And if you haven't looked for a job in a long time, things have changed. If things in the job hunting market remained completely static, I probably wouldn't be in a job. But because things change so rapidly and there are trends that come and go, and so many things now you require insider knowledge, it helps keep me in employment as a career coach. So let's go through some of the points that I want you to take on board. Probably the first thing is, does the job you're looking for or that you want really exist? And how many people are actually doing that job? And what is the likelihood of you actually getting employed in that job? When we're leaving a job or we're leaving a company or we want to leave and we want to progress, and we're looking at the job market, things have changed. And it's not just things like AI that are influencing changes, but it is things that might be different types of software, different other technology and developments that also might be having an influence, as well as there might be some popular subjects where lists are increasing, or there might be some subjects that have fallen out of fashion where lists and journals have decided to stop. So it's about having a look and seeing whether the job you want to do really exists. And then when you know whether the job you want exists, have a look and see. Number 2 is to look at your skills and ensure that your skills match the jobs that you're looking for. Obviously, through ALPS, you have an excellent careers hub which should allow you to bring a lot of your skills up to date and to make sure that your skills match the kind of jobs that you're going for. Because very often there's a skills gap. And number 3 is to rewrite your CV. And on your CV, I recommend that you list every type of software that you use, because we are in a skills gap area. So you've got people like me who all my computer skills are acquired. My first job, I actually had a manual typewriter. So all the computer skills I've got, which are quite extensive, I've acquired. Whereas you've got people who were born into the internet, who don't know any different, but also one would assume that they might not have a wide range of skills. There might be a very wide range of skills that they have that they don't talk about. So I always recommend on your CV that you list every computer program that you can use, so to help the recruiter understand exactly how skilled you are. Because there is often an assumption, if you don't mention a program now, that you don't use it or have no knowledge of it. And within your CV, you want to rewrite your CV. If you've been working for a while, the chances are all you've done is just add on all your new jobs. So every time you've changed job and you say, oh, I must update my CV, all you've done is just added on your latest job and shifted everything down. Whereas now we're in the period where you really should be rewriting your CV, because vocabulary on CVs has changed. And particularly in publishing, where we are the purveyors of the English language, you really need to move away from what I call CV speak and use proper, coherent sentences of full vocabulary that makes somebody actually visualize what it is you can do. And these bullet points that you might use, it's fine to go on to 2 lines with a bullet point, but make sure that somebody can instantly visualize and understand what you were doing. Don't just copy and paste a job description, because that job description is not about you making the job your own. You need to show that you've made the job your own. So that could be that I improved the filing system, that I improved the workflow, that I ensured that we never missed a deadline. That's all stuff that makes people realise that you've made the job your own, and list achievements within that as well. And to go through not just your current job that you're adding, but also check that you're consistent in your vocabulary throughout your CV. Now, I would say the next thing to do after your CV is to update your LinkedIn profile. And before you quickly rush away, oh yeah, I'm going to go and do that, here's some key points. The first thing is to ensure the words on your CV are not exactly the same words on your LinkedIn profile. So if you've written a personal profile on your CV, don't instantly copy that and put that on LinkedIn, because we know whether it's happening or not, but from time to time LinkedIn is scraped by AI, whether Microsoft deny it or not. But also, if it's on LinkedIn, somebody else who might be looking for the same sort of jobs that you might look you up on LinkedIn, see your words, copy it and put it on their CV. So I always suggest different words on your CV to what you've got LinkedIn. The other reason why you want to have different words on your LinkedIn is that if somebody headhunts you, finds you on LinkedIn, and then they say, hey, send me your CV, and you then send them your CV and it's exactly the same words, they think, well, actually, no, this isn't the person. And vice versa, is that you apply for a job, you send in your CV, and they think, oh, look them up on LinkedIn and see who they're connected to. And they say exactly the same words. So vary the vocabulary that you use on LinkedIn to what you do on your CV. So make sure that is updated, and do make sure you've got a header image on your LinkedIn profile, not just the grey, or I think it's pale blue at the moment, LinkedIn background. You can have an image. The default is sunrise, sunset, nice view, or a shelf of books. If you've been working particularly on a range of books or journals, you might want to put the covers of those up as your header, form a little collage using something like Canva. Then it comes to covering letters. Now, the covering letter when you work in academic or scholarly publishing is really key to your application. Don't think, oh, nobody reads this, and I get questions, do people read your CV first or your covering letter first? Both documents, your CV and your covering letter, need to work alone, but also in tandem. Think of your CV as a statement of fact, saying where you've been, and your covering letter is talking about who you are, what skills you can bring, where you're going, and what benefits there are to employing you. So think of those differently. So if all you're doing on your covering letter is you've got the same middle paragraph, and you're doing what I call top and tailing, you're changing the top paragraph and the last paragraph, and you're just changing the name of the publisher throughout. It's very, very lazy, and at the moment it's seen as very unprofessional. So always write a cover letter from fresh, and you take the job advertisement and you go through it line by line as to how you match that job. And there on your piece of paper, you should have the start of your covering letter, and go through it and turn it into coherent sentences. Watch your word repetition and read through it. Often I say leave it for at least an hour, go away, do something else, come back, read it out loud. And of course these documents should be proofread. And just going back to CV, another point is, if you've got a list of publications, Have that as a third page on your CV. So your standard CV should be no more than 2 pages, no matter how long you've been working. But if you've got a list of publications, journals or items that you've worked on, articles you've had published, have that as a third page of your CV. Then, if you're lucky enough to be called to an interview, we'll talk about the interview preparation. And this is key. You need to know more about the publisher, more about what they're doing. See where you fit in. LinkedIn is great for doing research like this as well, seeing how many people they've employed. You can also, if you turn your LinkedIn on so that nobody can see you're looking, you could hunt around and see how long people have been in their jobs. You might see who your predecessor would have been or possibly be, so you can see and build a picture of that employer. The other thing is to look at their competitors, to look at who their competitors are, how successful they are, and look at the websites of all three so that you can see, so that's the publisher you're being interviewed and at least 2 competitors, so you can see and gauge who's doing what well. Because there's bound to be a question at interview about the marketplace or competitors. So do make sure you check out. Don't get absolutely bogged down with that kind of information, but just make sure that you're able to hold a discussion about what competitors are doing and what the marketplace is like for those books or journals. And that's whether you're working editorial, production or marketing, you need to know this kind of information. And the 7th point is to network. Networking is really important and key, and if you can get the opportunity to network face to face, maybe at an Alps event or conference, then it's worth so much. And if not, then networking on social media, LinkedIn, commenting professionally on people's posts, maybe posting things yourself and interacting with what's going on can be really, really important. Now, the last point is where to look for jobs. Obviously, Alps has got a job board, but remember that publishing jobs are advertised absolutely everywhere. There's no just one place. So publishing jobs are advertised everywhere. So keep your mind open, and remember too that every organisation outside of publishing also has some sort of publishing function. So if you've been working in scholarly publishing, scientific publishing, then you might be prime to be looking at companies that are on the peripheries of the publishing industry that also have publishing functions. Some of this has been extracted from my book, How to Job Search in Book Publishing, The Ultimate Insider's Guide. It's now available, and I'm Suzanne at bookcareers.com. If you're stuck, feel free to email me. May you all be doing a job you love and being paid the salary that you so richly deserve.